Okay, next question. Tamia Saunders writes, I'm 16 and I've been drawing for a couple of years now, and I feel myself improving, but not as fast as I want to. I'm also paying more attention in my English class in order to become a better writer. I want to become a mangaka when I get older, and I know it's a tough field, but I'm fully dedicated, and this is something I want to do as my career. So here are a few questions for you, Mustayaki sensei. Thanks. Is it hard for a female to break in the manga business doing a shonen title? And two, is it hard to learn about Japanese culture and to learn their language? Thanks a lot for making these inspirational videos, and I hope that you never quit doing what you're doing, because you're a great inspiration to all the future mangaka for all parts of the world. Wow, thank you, Tamia, for your question and for your kind words. Well, it's hard for any artist actually. It's not even for female, but it's hard for any artist to make it into well, to being published and to make money out of drawing. So it's a real struggle. I say make an original story that's really interesting looking, and it's about getting noticed. It's not only making your manga. It's also making an original story. It's making original concept, original style, and getting noticed, like I said, and then get published. Is it harder for a female artist than a male artist? I don't know. Maybe Jamie can answer that better. But for as far as I know, I don't think so. Maybe only relating to the target audience you are going for. That's the only obstacle I can see, is that if I would write a shoujo manga for girls, I would have to know a lot of stuff about what girls like, what their interests are, what they're going for. So I can see that that could be a pretty, well, a little obstacle, but you can get very much, you can ask any boy for that. You can go research and do all that stuff. So I don't think that's something that's impossible to do. And adapt. It's not a problem. Like I said, if your manga is good, readers don't care if you're or a female or a male artist. Sophie-chan, who I interviewed, she's having her YouTube channel with more than 190,000 subscribers. So she's finding other ways to get more, getting more noticed and building up an audience and readers. So the time comes when she's got a manga finished, then she already has a big handful of people reading it. And it will probably I will launch the interview at the end of May. So look forward to that. It's a really great interview. And about your second question, is it hard to learn about Japanese culture and to learn their language? Well, I think also Jamie can answer that question better. But I also think whenever I go to another country, it's better to stay in that country or be there to learn the language, to learn the culture, than you are not in that country, because yeah, you're not speaking it daily. You're not having all the social skills, all those kind of things. I learned it from a little bit of Japanese from audio lessons, and for me it wasn't that difficult as I thought it was. I thought Japanese was far more difficult than because you hear a lot of people saying that it's very difficult to do and very hard to understand it. But for me, it went quite easy. I didn't pick it up, unfortunately. But like I said, Jamie's been to Japan, and Jamie knows a lot more about this. So what's your take on this, Jamie?
Okay, well, I want to answer the first question first. Is it hard for a female to break into the manga business doing a shonen title? I think that the only obstacle is in your head. No, it's not, because look at the number one most popular shonen mangaka ever. That's Rumiko Takahashi, right? She did Ranma One Half and Urusei Yatsura and, Inuyasha, and what's she doing now? Rin. I mean, she's one of the top-selling mangaka ever, and she is a woman, and she writes shonen manga. She didn't have a problem with it, so, as long as you know what's going to appeal to, young boys especially, then you're fine, and who can't think like a young boy, right? I mean, everybody knows what little boys like. You know, they like adventure and action and, you know, maybe a little romance for the older ones, you know, but basically write something interesting, write something funny or dramatic, you know, they're going to love it. I don't think there is any obstacle. I really don't. I really don't. They're not going to turn you down if you have a great story. They just want a great story. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
As for the second question, is it hard to learn about Japanese culture and learn the language? Well, I spent 9 years in Japan. I came over and the only words that I knew were like kawaii, kakui, baka, you know, all the stuff that you learn watching subtitled anime that I learned in college. I never took a single Japanese class. And in 9 years, most of which was working in a Japanese environment, I'm still not fluent. I think it's totally possible to become fluent in 1 or, well, more like 2 years, maybe if you rigorously study. But I didn't. I never really studied. I tried to absorb it more than I studied. And I did read a lot, though. So I don't know. I absorbed it. You know, and I thought I got along fairly well. I worked in Japanese environments. When I worked on The Prince of Tennis, nobody spoke English, and I was in a Japanese environment 24 hours a day. I learned a lot. You know, I think it's easy to pick up enough to work. Now, if you want to write a story in Japanese, you're going to have to study for a long time, I think. I don't have the confidence to write a really good story in Japanese, you know, so I write in English. You know, and then I have a friend help me translate into Japanese if I need it for something as complicated as a story, you know. But I don't know. I have friends who write fan fiction in Japanese, and they were born in the U.S. or born in Canada or Australia or something. So hold on one second. Yeah. Sorry, my nose is running, and that's really embarrassing. No. I don't know. I mean, Japanese culture, I got a lot of Japanese culture from just watching anime, you know, and reading manga. So, you know, maybe you won't know the nuances unless you spend a lot of time there. But if you want to know the gist of Japanese culture, just look at the media they produce, you know. I don't think it's so hard.
No.
If you like this video, then super smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our How to BAM YouTube channel. It's a great way for staying updated for the latest shows and videos. If you also have a question about making manga that you want to be answered on our show, then send in your email to info@howtobam.com. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter for some great giveaways and prizes.